Hey, good night, everybody. Welcome to the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Monday, March 10th. Late-ish, but you know.
Breaking the tradition.
I know, sorry.
You don't want to wait till 7:02.
I thought about it. Actually, time change. I should have waited that extra 30
You shouldn't have brought
seconds.
that up. I mean, I could go on for a long time.
It's sunny out. It's a nice day. That's great.
Fabulous day.
25.
I was unable to get them done.
I was to say,
You didn't send them, right?
you didn't, I was to say, I didn't miss something.
I know. I was like,
It's pretty busy, couple weeks.
Next item on the agenda is the public comment period. This is an opportunity for anybody from the public to bring up anything that is not already on the agenda for tonight.
Susan Ainsley, trustee liaison to the board.
Hey, Susan.
Hi, Carla Marceau. I'm observing for the community party.
Yeah, hey, Carla. Period.
I move to close the public comment period.
Motion by Lisa, second by Pat. All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Next item on the agenda. Discuss, oh, here's Neil. We'll discuss the final changes to the local tree law. Hold on 1 second. Eli.
Okay, I like that.
We push the approval of minutes to the next meeting. Just close the public comment period and for the weekend to discuss stuff. And I know you sent us an email and Mike printed some stuff out tonight, so I will, I'll let one of you.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to wait, I mean, I can rattle off what
Okay.
we've done, and then when you get to that, okay. So since our last meeting, except for Pat did send me, well, except we corrected typos in grammar. Pat sent me some changes that were all grammatical changes. Yesterday, we worked on the appendix, which you have a copy of. And some of the things were already on there. We already.
And actually, I realized that PH is little h. And not
Big
two-
P, little
two-
h.
Yeah, it just.
Wait. Yeah, I know.
Wait, I know, and then I meant to look it up, because what is this? Is it?
No, it's a dissolved
sense.
hydrogen number. I forget what P stands for, but it's something about dissolved hydrogen.
Okay. Even said do P little h, so it wouldn't have been much better. Okay.
1 through 6, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
For the
One
most part.
through 5.
1 through 5.
1 through 5,
1
yes.
through 5, you added 6, right? Okay.
Yes, oh, sorry.
Approved.
Okay.
This was the new stuff that we thought possibly could be included in the appendix.
Okay.
It's sort of like a resource, basically.
Yep.
And as I corrected it and took the zeros off, so it's single note.
Okay, oh, right, yeah.
For now.
The tree unit 1.0.
And then specifications and notes on nursery standards and planting practices. On page 3, in the middle, in the Village of Lansing. And we did take off, on the last page of that, perennial and grasses, we removed that, yeah.
And then we decided not to get into the acid issue.
I think adding that as number 6 is a perfectly reasonable way to do it.
Yeah,
The dealing with soil compaction, Lisa had found a document online,
yeah, it's one of the Nina Bassett local. kind of
so if you
things.
click on it,
Like, write it out, so
Yeah.
it's.
I don't know, I said no, only because, I mean, I don't know what the rules are, but nowadays, nobody does. Oh,
Be readable by the
Okay,
screen.
so, because I said.
Yeah.
well,
you wanted
yes.
me to, and I
did.
said,
Yeah, we
no,
have-
nobody does it anymore.
I also just wonder if, I guess it goes for the ones up above too.
Well, actually, the ones up above, Mike has the PDFs.
Stops working, should we just have that somehow locally?
I would, is it like a printable?
It's a,
Yeah.
it's a PDF for a website, or?
Yeah.
What about 7 then?
7, no, 7 was the website.
Okay.
7 was the website.
But could we,
Still up to the URL as long as, because
What's
If that website goes away, do we want to have some reference, like, we're referencing this, here's the website, here's what we're referencing on it, the text that we're. Maybe we just
it
want
was pretty
that.
long, but
Yeah.
if they just do the first part, they're gonna get it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Could it be something that we, and we link to the webpage, and then it has a separately, you know, like a printable version of
Yeah.
it, and we just have a PDF that we host on our.
Yeah.
permission to
Yeah,
do
isn't
that.
there concerns about
The the,
using her website materials on our website?
right, we might have to get permission from her.
There might be something about that. Cornell website, or is it that he's hosting on their own?
It's not a, there wasn't a Cornell website. It wasn't
I have
a,
to look at it, it was long, it was a long one. I really think, okay,
it wasn't a Cornell website, I would have
no, I don't think so.
known right away.
It was Nina Bassett, even though. it might
I'm
be
gonna pull it up.
So it sounds like we need to figure out who
Okay.
owns it,
Yeah,
and how we get permission to put it out.
But this is the chunk underneath it that is the.
This, and this is what you do. I mean, that tells you, but this one is a very inclusive thing that would give people more background if they wanted it. I just. Remediation, this is what you gotta do.
Sure.
So, what if it's, so maybe the thing to do is we have decompaction, scooping. There could be, yeah, we have that same line again, but maybe underneath it, we can say, for more information,
Yeah.
visit this link.
Yeah.
We went back,
The website page is Ecological Landscape Alliance, so it's,
Oh, okay.
so where is it on here? Dealing, let's see.
well,
It does refer to Cornell University in here. Obviously, because it was Nina's, right? Oh, and then there's information about Nina.
it was there, doesn't, it was, the link had the word decompaction in it. Oh, dealing with
That's what it was, yeah. It looks like it's just a one-page name and then a brief bio on her.
All right, so that's hanging out there still.
Yeah, so
We
yeah,
gotta
so-
resolve. Go back and forth on that.
So you want it where, underneath the title?
We're gonna go, yeah, dealing with.
Just say, here's information about.
So the header would be dealing with soil compaction.
But not
Or
be,
just
but not be.
soil,
Or just, or
Sure.
just decompaction.
Yeah, decompaction.
That of
It
soil.
should- With compacted soils, okay.
And then you have your method, and then at the end,
Here's
for
some
more
more
information,
Okay.
is it?
Eight?
Oh, I was going to say, just from the site, but it was a free download. They didn't, there was no charge for those. It's just something, in fact, where did we find, didn't we find one of them on?
Yeah, I don't know, too long ago already.
I know, that was like,
I mean, there was
that was back in, yeah. Anyway, that was.
So these are somewhat redundant, but I thought maybe tell them exactly, and then they could remember. Phase 3, so do we need both? Do we only need one?
I would remove the last avoid volcanoes, think donut.
Okay,
That just kind of,
But the,
I mean, we can keep it or just make it another
another bullet point. or
spacing or
something.
bullet point, just how it's
oh, you mean this?
positioned seems
Oh,
like, I'm like,
okay.
oh, what?
Lorraine is very into,
comma
because this is a
after
new,
volcano.
this was something that she did not know, and so this.
Until Yamela told me, no.
Comma after, I'd be like, comma, avoid
Avoid
volcano,
volcanoes.
comma.
No, wait.
Donut, end quote. Like, just so you know.
No, wait, so can you please tell me, because
So it's.
what did you say, Natalie?
Quote
So,
start.
a point,
Yep,
Bullet.
then quote, avoid.
Good.
yeah, that looks better, actually.
And then if you need to, we can always refer to this drawing that shows. Or there's other things out there that.
There's some really great YouTube, if anybody wants to know how to mulch.
What's that, another bullet point?
Really, Dave's landscape. Pictures,
Oh, yeah.
but
There,
they
there,
had it down.
and a comma there.
They were pretty quick, and they were.
I do a semicolon.
Okay, so that's it.
Standards makes it seem like it's something that's enforcement.
Yeah, I do a semicolon, I do a semicolon or a dash.
For example, thing is, what do we call appendix H? Because all it says now under appendix H is determining tree unit value. And
And have tree in it, its own appendix, since that is binding, and the
Yeah.
rest are all guidance.
well, actually, we asked, I think we bind them. Planting and transferring, we refer to it in our code.
So that which is binding, and
Yeah,
will
okay,
be
got it.
modified by
Right.
local law, I would put in an appendix. Appendix which can be revised by resolution.
Okay, so that, oh, wait a minute, I have to find where it is. I don't think we're comfortable with that at all. I'm not. I don't think that makes sense. Where's the planted tree? You know, because that was in the original code. Part 6 was in the original code, and then I came across part 2. It was in here from the very beginning. It was something that,
Okay, I got it. Additional general, no? We're at
What page?
5,
Page 5.
C5. Page 5.
Seems to be binding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, the tree, okay, so we have Appendix H. Five, right? Mhm. And then the Rex is what, H2? So I had trouble finding, I found, what was missing? Have.
There was no, wait,
There's one about.
there was no
tree lighting.
G.
Tree lighting, and I don't have that appendix. Does everybody else have that?
From this law?
From, it was 145.3, right? It was, right? I probably did, I don't know, if I remember.
Christmas tree lighting?
Could be, yeah, I'm not sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tree lighting?
Appendix
No,
E.
not tree lighting, just.
I didn't even,
We got through E or F. And then, or else there was F missing, and then it was mentioned.
G was. Look on the, online, because as we were told a couple weeks ago,
The appendix.
it wasn't correct.
145. Exterior lighting.
Exterior. Exterior lighting example for 50% reduction,
That's right, that's what it was. And what is that labeled? F, E?
G.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so I just wanted to be sure,
Added in 2022.
Yep. Mark.
just saying.
Wait, where,
Appendix G, exterior lighting example for 50% reduction.
Do you have?
what letter is that?
First of all, the
In
appendices.
the.
Yeah, this is interesting, right, because appendix G and H are, it's G and talked about, like, the Nissan dealership, reducing the
Right,
exterior
right.
lighting, but there is also appendix H in it, which is the tree unit value, so.
We get the,
Yeah, I don't think appendix G has anything to do with this.
no, but I wasn't sure if there,
Yeah.
but what happened, what I'm saying is. That's all.
Yeah,
To the point
Online.
to the point that came up
yeah,
at our last meeting.
yeah, I mean,
So-
I didn't have G in my,
So, just saying.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to divide this into those things that are binding, and those value and,
Is
I would just leave it as currently labeled, and then on page 5 of the tree law. Appendix H.
under the AMS, okay, see.
Just a reference to it. So you
Yeah.
know what we're
Okay,
looking.
so we're just going to keep H as tree, determining. And then we will have after that, what do we want to call it? Planning standards and guidelines, planning guidelines. Determining tree unit value, right?
The title of the appendix,
Yes.
that's fine. And planting standards, and planting
Okay.
standards. So I would remove this and put in planting standards, take
Oh,
out
okay.
guidelines.
Have 2, 3, just tree planting guidelines. Okay. So that will be up.
Not mandatory, but these are just
Okay.
our recommendations.
Kind of like guidelines,
Yeah, planting guidelines.
just people,
Guidelines.
people can. Recommendations, you can say, oh, it's a recommendation. Guidelines,
I'd be more apt to look at guidelines, just thinking, well, let's see what
yeah,
they got to
I like
say.
guidelines.
I'm lost, sorry, because I don't know what,
Do this or don't.
I'm lost, so I hope you're keeping track, because I don't
I think
know.
I have it.
Yeah.
Appendix and planting standards.
Yep.
That's the title. We're going to add basically to the current one, and Table 1, determining tree unit value chart, and Part 2 and 6 of the ANSI guide. And then all the other things that are on here, as we've discussed. Appendix I, we think, is the next one, called Planting Guidelines. And it's standards, 6 when choosing, blah, 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 pH, dealing with compacted soils.
In soil guidelines, because we are, if people are looking for like, what do I do with my soil, they'll look there.
I don't care. Yeah, because I think that's important. The pH thing is bigger than you think. I had a lot of failures not catching on to that for quite a while. Haven't come from New England.
I have a question. I'm going to read a sentence out loud.
You're good.
When choosing trees, keep in mind most soil conditions in the village loving trees and shrubs. Do we need to be explicit about how it'll negatively impact?
Will negatively impact.
Sure, because
Totally in the weeds.
Yeah.
And just say, this is good enough, let's bring it back to the board.
yeah, I mean, I could say something like impact, what kind of
Because-
impact, it might be a good impact.
Positive impact.
Oh, really?
I did.
Yes, that's what we're
You just saved us.
This will negatively impact, yeah.
Not everybody. pH, not necessarily.
Okay, so then, I don't want to put too much in here, but would it be says, 7 is neutral?
No, I don't think so.
0.
No.
Is that something that's called out, though, in the specifications one, or the, this thing, pick whatever species, wasn't that in there? Or
In
not?
in the chart.
The big chart, yeah.
In the big chart, there's indication.
I wouldn't get into quite a chart, but have our high.
Maybe like a high-low range?
Standard,
With
like,
color
it's like a little bar,
Yeah, it's a-
with a set of colors on it, it
Yeah.
has, 0 to 14, I think it
Yeah.
is, and it says alkaline and acid.
I was gonna say, I have trouble never remembering this. I remember A is for acid, and then I go, no, yeah, but it couldn't be alkaline, and thing to remember.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's acid on the left.
Right,
That's all I'm saying.
so I don't know if it's helpful to have that.
Honestly, and I don't remember if a high pH means high acid or high alkaline, but when I saw this, positively affect the success of acid-loving trees, and that's how I read it.
Good, I'm so glad you wrote it. See, this is what happens when you. This is
So,
perfect.
So in other words, I got it totally wrong.
I'm with you, Jim.
But it's because it's the way it's written, words.
But Lisa,
So-
remember, we talked about 3 different options on how to say that, and then we ended up going with the.
So so high pH means high acid or high alkaline?
No,
High alkaline,
What's that?
alkali, or alkaline.
neutral basic, that might be even easier. Alkaline and basic, you can use,
Yeah.
you can use the word basic instead of alkaline.
The high pH, but you just can't bank on people knowing that that means base.
Right.
Have a
Because
high,
people may not connect base to pH then.
right.
Or what,
So we say,
highway alkaline?
What about, I'll pass this around, what about something like that? I mean, we can probably recreate something as easy as that.
oh, there was a
Well, and
little.
then I would add, does it say, oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
at the
no,
bottom.
it just, I touched it,
Yeah.
and so it went away.
No, I think that is, I think.
Okay.
Even like just a line and numbers, so it doesn't have to be hard to recreate and.
So we should say, instead of don't put the pH.
Above
So-
7, but just.
And then include, okay, this will negatively impact the success of acid-loving trees and shrubs. I said, but.
Yeah. So those of us who forgot our 6th grade science,
Been a while.
I know, that is the problem. Really
That's what-
chemically oriented, yeah, it's.
There's a little history since I.
For some people, but. Yeah, because we know that low. Well, we've settled on an insert scale. Oh, Lorraine.
I will find whatever that is.
I mean, I'm not gonna,
Thank you, that.
Agricultural blogs, they refer to the scoop and dump method.
Yeah.
So I sent that link as well, so just in case.
Just a bunch of links, yeah.
You know, if-
I,
Retire Cornell
and
websites.
I,
It's
you know,
all the
my thing is sometimes you're reading this even online, and you don't feel like going to the link,
Yeah, well, I
and there
want
is
a PDF,
exactly.
like me, or people who forget, would it help to have the word acid on the left and the word alkaline on the far right? So we,
This thing has, I'll send this around.
And we'll
it
pass
has-
it by you, Jim.
what's that?
We'll pass it by you, Jim, to see if you understand.
Me too.
The can.
Yeah, what is it?
All right,
Yeah.
so we have determining tree unit value. And big is a tree that has a, the diameter is 6 inches. Isn't great. So I get into this, and then I thought, all right, I gotta figure this out. I just want everybody to know that this is 6 inches. That is, and that probably represents, I would say, a good 25 years to 30 years in this place, from my experience. State, David, and I thought, okay, but I just, as a visual, I just thought, look how big that is. No, those I think David said could go, and nobody would miss them.
Yeah, those ones
Yeah,
did.
these are the things we don't want.
That one had.
I say that's really our environment, that's what we want to protect.
That's what we
That's
want, yeah.
exactly what I
Yeah,
said.
that-
That, we can take it down, build a house, yes, but that.
But isn't that? I get upset every time I drive by, because some of those
Yeah,
were
they're
like
bigger.
this, and we're talking like 100-year-old trees
Yeah.
probably, and it's just like, that. So that's why I brought in I had to go to, I was saving this can because it's metal, and rodents don't chew through metal. They'll chew through the top, but.
They'll chew, yeah, they'll chew
Yeah.
through the plastic.
But if it's just sitting on the shelf, I've learned, but that's why I brought my can, because I. Should I just leave it out in the lobby here for everybody?
On the front table.
Put a note on there.
Okay.
Just.
By, and this is the size of a tree, if it's smaller than this, you have to get, you know.
But that, so I thought, when we say that anything less. Let's see,
I like that one.
did I tell you I have a.
Excellent, that's exactly what we need this.
There it is. Other discussion on?
Did we figure out clear cutting?
I have looked for
There's
definitions,
nothing.
and they're all regarding tree harvesting.
I know,
Yeah.
so
It's
what
right.
is. Whether we should. First of all, I think most of us understand what that means, whether we're for. But do we need to really worry about it, or do we get back into indiscriminate cutting? Or thoughtless cutting? I don't think that's gonna fly.
Yeah, it's-
And there was nothing else that came
I don't
close.
like indiscriminate cutting, because it's discriminate to me.
But now we're getting complicated, I just thought, what does clear, I understand what clear cutting is, and in fact, people have said.
After, or I guess while that discussion was taking place, I think I was gone, so I had two computers to work with, and I Forestry Associate, it sounded like a reputable, and they defined it as cutting down all or substantially all trees.
With
Are you looking for your sheet?
kept it.
Are you looking for your sheet?
Oh, does it have it there?
No, this was your sheet that,
Yeah, I know, but I didn't.
it's any cutting of trees over 6 inches in diameter at breast height over any 10-year cutting cycle where the
Oh, no,
average,
it's not
no?
it.
Okay.
No.
Oh, here's one. Clear cutting, the practice in
Oh.
which most or all trees in an area are uniformly cut down. And that was, yes, and then clear cutting could be in our definitions.
So where are the definitions? Remember, we talked about this?
They're all separate.
But we couldn't find them in the book yesterday.
No, I did.
You did find them?
Yeah, they're in the.
Oh, wait, that was, oh, was that the page?
And they're hard to find because they're, of the formatting, and they're all.
Yeah.
There was no space, right? They all ran into.
It's really, I visually find.
It is, it's very
I have gone through my old version because I have done, over the years, I've underlined each. Impossible.
So what I would say moving forward, is we've had these discussions many times now, if you think there's things that should change there, do not hold on to them. Change formatting until we need to add another definition.
So can
We
we
need to change
leave,
formatting.
so given this definition, if we put it in there, can we?
Land on for clear cutting, all or substantially all?
Clear cutting, the practice in which most or all trees.
Uniformly adds, but that's basically all or substantially all, but what is uniformly? I mean, they're
Opposite of random, no?
well, I mean, when they're clear cutting, it's obviously
Can you see if
intentional.
you can find, did you find something?
I don't have the computer. I thought, well, that sounds pretty clean and straightforward. And
Well, if you could find it again, that would be helpful.
I mean, could we just, for all or most, and just say all or substantial?
I think
We
he's
can defer.
struggling with uniformly.
Well, Natalie, what do you think?
Way.
We don't want too much. We don't want to give a lot of leeway.
You have an issue with the form, with the.
What that means, what, if you're cutting down all or substantially all trees.
Which most or all trees are mowed down.
It to apply to more things. We're not arguing about uniformity.
Okay,
Yeah.
So what would you?
this is the definition. Practice in which most or all trees in an area are cut down.
That sounds simple and straightforward.
Yeah,
Every-
Most or all?
in which-
Wait, I think, did she say most or all, or I was
Yes,
thinking
most.
all or most.
The
I
practice.
think
in
it should be covered under
Yeah.
those
Make
terms.
a legal
Yeah,
difference.
it's covered under
And
either
then,
direction.
in fact, I think I got definition, these came together as a forestry thing. Deforestation, clear cutting, done without any intent to reforest an area and cause. So
I think that's
part of this
fine
is clear cutting, you know, basically in.
For the sake of clear cutting.
For the sake of clear cutting, maybe we should say.
Just muddies it.
Go any further than that.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Sorry.
that,
Yeah, this is.
But and the thing is, with the tree law and the point system that we have, cut down something in kind of an old scrubby area to build and gives you leeway to keep good trees and put in new ones. I don't. Was written, but there's going to be a situation where someone could deforest.
I hope not.
I mean,
Unless you do in the dark of night.
Right. what you're doing moving forward, you can't do this.
There was a New York State, somehow, is this? 573.7 jurisdiction review of clear cutting, I came across that.
So let's look to the point that only apply to cluster subdivisions and special permits.
Yeah,
So a clear cutting situation could happen with a traditional sub.
Before you even get there.
Well, you can't do the 25.
Right, that's my
Are we keeping that?
point.
Because I thought we were having an issue with that for much put off from developing in the village because of this.
Yep, and we had chatted about making adjustments to that.
So we're saying,
Which, here's how much you can remove. Doesn't matter if you're doing something else or not developing, here's the things you can't do, right? And what is it, under,
we couldn't, well,
Right, and we've talked about it multiple
I
times,
just
and nobody,
couldn't come up with anything. I mean, I don't know how we do that.
Is holding back development
Yes.
in the village.
yep,
The 25%.
right, and that's what we talked about before.
Okay,
And I think we have a few examples of where, like, it absolutely.
and we also felt we couldn't enforce it necessarily, because it's over.
I have an idea, I will come up with some options.
We can't deal with this part.
well, can it be like, can it, whatever the situation is, depending on what the situation is?
You don't really want that if you can avoid it. We should be able to do better than
And
that.
that gets tough. Right? We don't want to go down that path.
If we don't
That
have
much
to.
discretion, yeah, I mean,
That invites,
Really preventative, but I think one thing that may be helpful is if they had to get some sort of permit before they go in and it's not on like dirt drive when it's in the road, right?
Well, there are many examples of that in
Yes.
other tree. And commercial have to come if they're gonna do anything to
Yeah.
speak of, which is the 6-inch thing. Could come up with something, but we just didn't know
And
what to
then
do with
within those
this.
examples are, I mean, what's the fee structure? Are you charged more if you're taking to submit a plan for what you're going to do in the area prior to the permit being issued, questions of how much you can enforce from sticking to that plan. Happening, rather than,
Waking up one day and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the neighbors are calling saying what's going on.
yeah.
At this point.
I agree.
So I think the rest were pretty good on, and as good as it can be at this point was what, it's been hard. Still, this part still isn't working.
Yeah.
And it's partly residential versus commercial, improved versus unimproved, but we've got to resolve this part because
make something that's, rather
Reasonable.
than stick with discretion, gives them its guidelines for future planning board members.
But yes, because part.
yeah,
I have one where geez, I hope I didn't throw that, I'm sort of getting bogged down. Yes.
Yeah.
It was one of the things, and I'll find it, called protected trees.
Okay.
And it tells you where. But there's a difference if they're in a wetland. And it was a village too, might have been, it was some. Are very wealthy,
Yeah.
kind of outside of New York City. Yeah, but they, that. Once they're done, you don't get them back for another 3 generations of people. I mean, so it's really important for real estate.
Privacy goes away.
Privacy, noise, pollution, all of it. So, and then you talk about the balance between, think that maybe we could emulate.
Yeah,
Good.
I think permits would be a way to go.
Permits.
And I wonder if, I mean, because really we're talking about, yeah, because you've got a million trees on those. Maybe we go back to, you know, we don't count the footprint of the new building in that percentage or something, because you know that they have to cut down for.
Have to account for the wetlands, account for this, and then they get this, so it was the buildable, wasn't it the buildable, what did it come with? It's April the 30th, we discussed this.
Then again, you don't want to encourage people to blow their buildings just for its birthday.
Yeah, right.
So excluding minimum required parking.
I have I had the acre minus the right of way, minus the required parking, or 3 units per acre.
Yep.
And residential was lot coverage percentage.
Excluding the square footage footprint of any dwelling. Well, that's for minimum tree density, that's not regarding removal of trees. Construction vehicles into the site.
Well, okay, I think what we need to do then, you'll look at it, I'll see if I can come up with some of the decided so far and pinned down, I think. And then I think this is basically what's left.
Just that one piece of gravel.
And if we, you know, we really need to wrap our heads around this for the next few months. Maybe it's worthwhile to send the things on to the trustees that we say, at that time. The other thing too is we talk, if we talk about some sort of permit or something like that, I just seems like there's, and I know we ask more and more
Oh, I see what you're saying.
of the, of the office here, permits usually have fees associated with them. You doing something. It's more of an application than like, a building permit, a construction permit, a demolition, those things have, you plan on doing it so that we can guide you the right way, or so that we can say, oh, just so you're aware, you can't. Initial thought when we started talking about permit for it versus.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Yeah,
let's
it just.
see. One of the other issues that came up. There's another thing, and I'm thinking, okay, this isn't good. So, skip. But there are still some good ideas, and some of it I started to offload a little bit. It's getting a little much. So what does,
Would we feel, we don't want this to be onerous to development. Include some sort of language that talks about how we want to encourage development in the village and balance that with
Local law, it's not to encourage or discourage something.
Right.
It's to say, here's this thing you want to do, here's the law that applies to that.
indiscriminately,
Yeah.
particularly during development and construction
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we want to still say that?
I don't know if that
I
helps
would say the
us.
intent is to ensure planting, restoration, and maintenance during development and subdivision.
Yeah. Does that fall into, I mean, yeah, yeah. It is development.
Yeah.
It's development.
Yeah, it covers everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay,
well, let's kind of clean this.
very good, thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. Seems really close, other than that one piece.
That's what we can.
That-
Yeah.
We need more heads looking at it and looking at this. You really get bogged.
Okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda is other business. I realize we sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I have a whole list of things.
Fire away.
So I have the scoop on Best Buy. So Best Buy signed on for another year.
Where specific, I know on the Strip, probably.
No, across the street from the Strip.
Oh, where?
They're planning,
Texas Roadhouse or
Oh,
whatever
this is in the
that,
same parking lot as Texas Roadhouse, the sleep,
I mean,
place, whatever.
whatever.
you know, I'll,
Oh, like where Office Max was a few years ago?
behind there.
There's buildings like behind FedEx.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Is to move down there. and
Yeah,
that-
because Office
but-
Max was behind where Texas Roadhouse is.
Oh, is that what was on the end of that building?
That's where Ally's was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When it happens.
The other thing is, I noticed at the end of last week that there was activity at the. What's going on down there? What are they?
They have a permit to redo that to. Yeah, they had a little bit of issue there. They had a pipe explode inside, but in the winter. But
And the sign must have gone up either Thursday or Friday morning, probably
they have
Thursday.
a permit for it.
Yeah.
That was one of the plan reviews that I had done.
Are you able to say which bank?
Yeah, he just
I
said
think it's
community.
community. I mean, I'll walk in and find out. for
Oh,
sure.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah. A minute, I'll find out.
And the other thing is, I don't know if anybody knows, but someone has taken over the cafe at the airport. I'm not sure exactly. Second Landing, but it's somebody that was there a long time ago and ran the cafe at the airport, like back maybe 2016. Airport posted on their Instagram page. And they're also they're catering to people that are waiting for flights or you're.
I know there was a place there a while back, I guess when you were, it was called Second Landing, and they've gone through a couple.
Multiple.
I think a coffee company used to run.
Yeah, and after that, it was this other group, and I can't remember the name of it, and apparently things didn't go well for them either, and Landing. Do they own a business somewhere else in town?
They
or-
used to own it before, and then when I left out of there, now they come back and they bought it back again. They're trying to open it up.
Hell no. I
No,
mean,
the
what-
only reason I know that is my wife's cousin.
Oh. All right, then we should all go there and get something. Like, it was, yeah, I looked back, because I was like, oh, what do they mean, welcome back? When were they there? Anyway, that's it.
Pat? Lisa?
Did you, I think he's like, come up with some, okay, so we're. Is, you know, if we don't have this kind of pinned down and under control by September, we should really look at this in advance, because it's roll, are we, when are we gonna start working on our stuff?
So we've started.
Yes.
I know that, and Mike could talk about this, you know.
Okay. Wanted to know.
If there are like grammatical things or things like that, or things that you notice that are missing, if you want to talk about here, great, we absolutely can, but.
Okay, well, mine is more about formatting, as I said.
Let Jody know about formatting.
I was gonna say, this is.
That's the thing, I don't care about formatting as long as it is all formatted consistently.
I wanna see what you,
And she
okay,
has reformatted it so it's consistent.
okay,
And so, yeah.
all right.
I don't know what the plan is to go through and do that for other.
Resolution.
Right. But, yeah, let Jody.
So formatting doesn't require.
Yeah, it will,
It does?
yeah, it will, yeah.
Okay.
because-
It only did it in
That part, yeah.
Would that include our definitions?
It's, oh, that's not, no, that's not the first part.
That's 145-3.
One.
like the admin provisions.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So if it's in the one. Tell Jody,
Yep, tell Jody,
okay.
because she'll go in and she'll see what needs to be changed, she'll update it, and then the trustees will have
I mean, if
to.
it's pure format. Size.
Maybe,
Or both.
Maybe we, I will
maybe
check
you
with
could get away with that,
Malcolm.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, I'm talking about so you can find things easier, but that's what I want.
That's a change, that's a.
So we should do it all together, it's like.
And my argument would be, how long do you think it'll take for us? Every meeting, if you've got a cluster of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Great, do it, don't hold on to it, that's my point, don't hold on to stuff, let's
No,
get it done.
okay, so.
Yep,
Add it as a first section of the local law, definitions to be added to 145-3.
yep.
There's already a few, we'll add clear cutting, there's already a few that we have in.
Okay, I was gonna, yeah, I think we had a couple of suggestions. Okay, all right, so we gotta come up with a list of that too.
There are some definitions in there that need to be changed, and I'm figuring that's gonna be part of what I'm gonna propose to you guys. Just so.
Okay,
it's-
that makes sense.
So it's
Some
accurate,
standard.
we don't have some other definition. Everyone gets confused over modular homes. Homes and mobile homes, everyone gets confused over that, it's a simple definition once you see it and they're next to each other, so.
Okay, good.
Really no, because she can coordinate all that.
She's gonna be the one that kind
Yes.
of knows all that's going on.
Let her know, she'll coordinate. She'll know from other things, but, you know, if the planning board is, you know, thinking about this and that, she can coordinate holding off, well, let's not do that for the trustees until you. She'll, you know, she's kind of the gatekeeper for the stuff for the trustees. What else, Lisa?
No, that's it.
Maybe this is premature, any word on what might happen to the Applebee's building?
And the which one?
Applebee's.
Applebee's.
See, Ronnie sent everybody,
I know.
you must have missed that email. Ronnie's, a couple weeks ago, Ronnie got an email. They got a letter from There's like 44 people losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They did have some numbers.
Because the rent is,
Mark Ambiter must have gone over there and talked to them, because he had it quoted.
so, is
yeah,
it,
they're blaming the rent increase. Yeah.
in the village, how do you go about fostering that? Do we, like, talk to any of them? Is that something people do? To say, you know,
I don't know, Lisa, somebody asked that question.
the landlords or whatever?
Oh, no, well, about how can we, what can we do
Yeah,
about this?
exactly, but
And
I'm
Ronnie
saying-
said there's not really anything that the village can do.
Area development.
Yeah.
So you don't just call the landlord and lower your.
Hey, lower your rents.
No, just get another, you know. Have, so that we could plan.
Well, I know, and you know what, I figure this is just what I think happened with Applebee's. They probably had like a 30-year lease, I mean, Applebee's is year leases, and, 10 years is a long time ago, and they probably jacked the run up so high.
Yeah, I will say, the other thing is that shopping center, lately, the last few, that parking lot has never been terribly crowded, whereas like 15 to wait,
Maybe people
and
are
the
going
last
out.
few times, I mean, it's empty.
Really?
Since COVID, things definitely have.
Yeah.
In terms of restaurant.
I don't notice, but I do remember that parking lot being full all the time. But what I have been noticing is Taco Bell, and it just doesn't look busy over there. And 2 cars in the drive-in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like,
McDonald's always is.
and McDonald's doesn't even look that busy these days. I've driven,
Bell being a little busy.
have you? Oh, good. Well, that makes me feel better, because every time I drive by, there's like only you can tell it's only the people that work there that are.
Long line of cars at McDonald's, and thinking,
Yeah,
all these people
well, at
are
lunchtime.
doing drive-in as opposed to walking in the
Yeah.
restaurant.
But I haven't, two lines they'd be wrapped around the building.
I think in general, I think people just, I don't know.
They've
I don't
also
blame
gotten
them.
expensive.
It is.
Spend their money, I know,
Yeah.
it's scary times.
Anything else, Lisa?
No, that was nothing.
We can sit here and discuss your work all night long, but,
Turn uses.
trying to
Turn
do this.
uses.
That's what I was doing. Different.
What are you doing?
I just assumed you were doing different stuff, yes.
Chart of uses, or wrong on the chart of uses.
I'm trying to simplify the whole thing.
Well, help.
No, I think you two are doing different things.
What do you mean by simplify?
I'm trying to take it, if
That stuff.
you go
Oh,
here, and
that's
you go down
right.
here, and you go, well, wait a minute, that can give, with special conditions here, what, I'm trying to simplify it.
We had talked about,
Low-density
Yeah.
residential, single family,
yeah,
X, and X means it's allowed,
Yeah,
with no.
yeah. You're actually looking
Here
to
with
see
these conditions.
discrepancies.
I've got an idea, so.
oh, good,
Yes, you're doing it.
Yeah.
because actually. Various
Well, and
references.
some of them aren't correct, which I've emailed you about one instance. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and then I've was a change of use with parking, change of use without parking, and then that. And so I'm kind of working on that example also. Snub wasn't my turn, so.
No, it's your turn.
My- Okay, moving on.
Mike, what you got?
No, that's just, I apologize for not having meeting.
Thank you for sending this around, by the way.
Yeah.
The green
Best design practices that
Oh,
we
yeah, that's great.
reference to.
In the packet.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then Natalie, what I'll do is tomorrow I'll send you what an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Getting there.
but it can be simplified, that's for sure. It can
Yes.
be a little bit confusing. Board of Trustees, which you would be getting into, setting a public hearing for changing the zoning for that. I had said at the meeting that it more than likely wouldn't happen because I still have to send it to the county. They have 30 days for the GMS. They haven't had it. So they
So now you've learned the trick.
So I got the full EAF done for it. Resolution for
For the seeker?
The seeker?
I think so. I haven't
Because
sent
Judy
it
said
to
she
you.
didn't have one.
I haven't sent it to her yet.
For which
Okay, who's got
bonus?
one?
In the seeker.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. But you want to talk about once that's.
But either way,
One or
whatever.
the other.
Well, they probably changed.
This pretty hot. You talked about you might not be here next meeting. I'd like to have, make sure everyone's here when they come to the
April 14th, I
initial
said you would-
presentation.
5th, I'll be here.
April 14th, you said you would not be.
But yes,
Right.
the,
Have that.
yeah, that is the first April meeting, I will not be here. That's great, but
If not,
I also suspect that they'll be here for more than one.
Oh, you'll see
So,
a lot more than one.
I hope so.
Since I'm not gonna be here, and we've done this for folks too, for things that are big like this, I'd like to be here for that.
right.
So if they are going to be country, so I'd like to cancel that meeting if they're gonna be there. If it's a light agenda meeting and they're not gonna be here and it's other stuff, by all means.
When they come in, we usually hit them hard with a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And it takes them a couple of meetings to get everything back together with the changes. So that's. And I'll try to get you the information ahead of time so that you have a bunch of questions for them of the needs you'd like to see. So and it might work out that way.
Okay.
So I will, after the. The 17th, so if they want to get in on the 25th, they'll have to get me the stuff here relatively soon. And then we'll kind of run with it.
The trustees generally do one public hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is their meeting.
That's if the planning board doesn't hold it over.
That's right.
Trustees don't hold it over for another meeting.
Right.
They'll
No,
tend to-
they don't.
Yeah, they tend not.
So what is the zoning change that's gonna be done?
Change
residential.
Great.
So if they do
It's
that,
similar to the other one,
Yes.
yes,
when the
Right.
hard on that, and it just seems very appropriate. It's a transitional kind of.
it is, yeah, this piece of property seems, again, seems very. Yeah, how it matches up with the rest of the area there, it seems appropriate.
This particular project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll touch base. Does anyone have any issues? Let's see what's on the agenda, but does anyone have any issues with canceling the? Okay. So we'll wait till it gets a little bit closer. Mike and I'll chat, obviously, and we'll get information on ahead of time, you know, just for public notice.
Anything else?
Nothing's, we still don't know what's going on with the ADC building, right?
No.
I mean,
With the-
On the purse on that one.
There may be a small special permit coming into the lava building for,
Oh,
it's possible.
seems like a odd space.
so many things are possible.
Yeah, give me the application. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, anything else before, okay. But, they did the, public hearing on the proposed local law amending the, for the subdivision of land to include provisions for lot. They did pass that, and I know that Kathy had some questions at our last meeting
I
about
wasn't
that.
certain I understood what the concern.
Kind of twofold. The concern is what we ran into with the board water. Basically isolated,
Oh, but you landlocked something?
You landlocked
Yes.
what happens if some other reviewing it, the planning board won't be reviewing
Oh.
it. And I think what Kathleen, I mean, unless I misunderstood her, what she was concerned about was, would I be able to put conditions on it? Yes, I do it all
Oh,
the
I
time.
see.
Everything is
She
an
was-
issue with me putting a
okay.
condition
But
on it.
why, what sort of condition would be?
To be honest,
My position, that Berg Warner application would have come as a minor subdivision because it created the landlocked parcel, even though it's just landlocked by tax map.
That was just a lot line change, but because it created a landlocked piece, it would come,
To a
okay,
minor subdivision.
okay. So then that. Right, if there was something that came up that conditions had to be imposed on, right, that's something that we traditionally do.
Yes.
Through our functions. To do it right, can Mike do that, or does at least, you know, through this, does Mike have the ability to say, hey, yes, I would normally do this, but.
So Mike can say, I want, like, we're neighbors, I want to give you 5 feet of my yard, we can submit that through Mike. Easy
Done.
peasy.
Okay.
I don't have enough frontage,
He
then
can
it
send
has
that
to
to the
come
planning
here.
board.
and that's one of the criteria you put on it, if it's
Yeah.
non-conforming, you can't make it
Yeah,
non-conforming.
so that was the discussion.
I wasn't certain I understood it, and I thought, I gotta think about this a little bit and figure, you know, go back to it. And it was, I just wanted to be.
Complicated, actually.
Always does.
It got kind of funny because they moved, you saw all the lot lines they moved around. Well, it came to is actually 2 parcels because of the school districts.
Oh.
One was Lansing, and one was Ithaca, so they kept it. It's tax
Now we're
parcel
switching two
this
parcels.
and this tax parcel this is now gonna be changed because.
Which I think they've accommodated by also addressing the district part. I'm pretty sure that will align pretty clearly with the school districts.
Because there's been an example before that happened on Trip Hammer where you don't. They only own, you
For
know,
what? Yeah, not very far.
well, there's some people that have houses there and then their backyard, it changes over to the town. But wasn't allowed to.
Can't do it.
in school districts.
So let me ask this question then. So where
It's both, yeah.
so what is the school district for that property?
Ithaca or Lansing, it's both.
Oh,
So some of the kids will be
Most of
going,
it, most. So depending on where the townhouses are situated, you could have some residents going to Ithaca.
oh, that's
and paying
crazy.
Ithaca
That's
City
crazy.
tax.
but that's, we don't,
Across the street, it's Ithaca.
yes.
Because, I mean, the Ithaca school buses come in and pick the kids up.
Well, you could have.
No, no, no.
Oh, my gosh.
The car is garaged.
I know. I know, oh, right, right.
Let me stay home, but,
Oh, I was sleeping with my brother.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
yes.
It will be. They know this, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they are going to tell the residents.
But, right, it's up, they're the property owners that have.
Well, let's, I hope that it's,
Their taxes will be way lower if they put.
well,
Not our monkey, not our zoo.
Yeah.
when
I
East,
think they, part of the reason they moved.
we should remember this, though, because I'm going to tell you what, because I was absolute mess. Granted, anytime there's new construction, things are a mess, but trying to get your cable and your NYSEG, and people didn't even know to get stuff hooked up, and it was, if it's not in the 911 system, the address, it's almost impossible. Anyway, it, because it'll be new construction. People will not know this about the school districts. It's going to be trial and error, probably, when they try to get their kids enrolled, if tell Park Grove that they need to make their,
Right, and that's the only thing that we can do. I mean, again,
we can suggest to them.
they are.
Oh,
The school district is a question in seeker. You know, what are the impacts to your school district?
oh, that, okay.
Where it would, I don't think.
It's not secret.
We don't
No,
get-
sorry, when I've done EIS is, it comes up with school districts, so it's the next level.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
We should remember that and ask them how they, no, we should ask, you're right, Lisa, we should ask them how they intend to handle that.
If we have a question,
They
and just
can,
say, gee, you know, that would be important.
it's nothing for, it's
They
nothing.
may not
so-
think about that kind of thing. I mean, they know it, they know it's a thing, right?
To enforce or to put conditions on. them.
No, but we can still
Yep,
ask.
yeah.
But it is hard to know about all of that, because I. Yeah, the planning board just said, oh, well, you know, they're in the, where the house was located, they were in the Lansing School District. I'm going, what? That was. it was based on the water district or something, and I'm thinking, geez, couldn't we trade slots?
Doesn't even matter what it's
Everybody,
based on,
a
roll
bunch
it
of
out.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that, like, people who live on Burdick Hill, one bus comes from one side of the street, the other bus comes from the other side of the street. It's,
The next item that the trustees talked about was, like we discussed here, they set the public hearing for the local law for rezoning the the folks that had initially proposed a PDA for 20 Bomax, which is where Transact presentation, right, they had contacted Mike, and it was a substantially different project than what they had initially proposed. So they came back, they did give a presentation. Exact is like kind of building out around the existing structure. That had stayed, I think, relatively the same, but the bigger discussion was they had also
Or whatever.
No, in the front, in the front,
Right.
Warren
So
Road
they
Bomax.
had gotten that, and they had also proposed under the same PDA a building. Talked to the trustees, there was quite a bit of discussion about that. There were a few concerns that came up. One of them was just the height of the buildings in general. Sewer units they proposed and how that does or does not match up with, you know, code here in the village and density. That level of density just wasn't allowed. So they were gonna go back and talk to whoever they were gonna talk to and figure out what the next steps were. At the trustees level.
So, but they still are looking for a PDA.
Yes, that was their approach, yeah, that's the only way that they could do what they want to do there. But that was,
Well, I- also,
I could be way more than density, right, the density was just,
I think, wasn't there something to talk?
yeah, yep,
I don't
yeah.
want to go through another Lansing Meadows. That's the last thing we need.
Yep.
Because I think PDAs could be wonderful, but they have.
You know, here's what they're used for, is this an appropriate use of the PDA? So, but no decision was, you know, was made.
Okay, good.
Worked on, and it was just, you know, putting into, you know, having a smart climate smart community thing. So having, you know, recycling and waste bins and compost bins in. Yeah.
Waste site.
Well, it's a program, the program is here in the village, right, but this was in specific village facilities, which they're already here, yes, we participate in the program. Talked about that, they did pass that resolution. There was a discussion about, and I think these things were maybe done a little. I think the biggest thing that came out of that was Jody, there was some discussion about salaries for the mayor, the planning board. Or in the last budget, maybe the one before, they had, you know, given salary increases for the planning board, for the trust. Salary increase in this upcoming budget. Jody also asked for a raise or an increase in salary. That's her last raise. At that point, they discussed adjourning to executive session at the end of the trustee meeting. They did read the letter. Jody read the letter off that we had passed along to them. She did insert her own commentary into she read the letter, she inserted her comments, there were some other comments from other trustees, but they did agree that, you know, great if we could go and do this now, maybe now's not the right time. Yes, it's pricey, there are some benefits to what you get from that. So, either they see something in the future that would make it, you know, more feasible, or we do the leg. We really think now is a time that this should be revisited. And were there, I don't know if there were, yeah. There was comments, there really wasn't a whole lot, and then they did adjourn to executive session to talk about personnel
Issues.
Any other final thoughts before we adjourn? I know we usually do our own comments prior to the trustee, or we can swap them on, but whatever.
Max, I had actually pulled out the materials from when they presented to us. It was like September 2023, but I looked at the drawings, and I also had a copy. The structures and what they look like. They didn't look like anything that they proposed at the first meeting. In fact, it looked more like or Section 8 or affordable or homeless projects. Yeah, the designs were totally different. I pulled it out.
Pleasing to the eye.
No, they're not. I mean, and
Remember, the cover, the very, it was
Yeah.
this little feudal
Oh,
village.
yeah, so, yeah, I'm like,
And then you open it.
prison, yeah.
but again, well, you know, it's up to the developer. They can
Yes, it
present-
is.
They can present whatever.
Right.
So like I said, the trustees have not agreed to anything.
Right.
They had some major concerns, I would say, with what was presented. Remotely ready, Susan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they were not even remotely ready to say, go talk to the planning board.
No, oh, no.
They were not there yet, so. PM.
I will make a motion to adjourn the
Motion by
meeting.
Jim,
Second.
second by Lorraine, all in favor?
Aye.